Hi, welcome to Go Within Yoga. Today I'm going to be talking about the water element. Got my little prop right there. The water element is associated with winter, and I want to start off this talk with a quote from Lao Tzu that really spoke to me. Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until right action arises by itself? And I really love that quote. Not only does it talk about yin yoga to me, but it talks about life. How many times do we just react? I am definitely guilty of that, absolutely. You know, somebody says something we don't like and we just lash out right away, right? But what if you take a moment to just breathe, and then you're calmer and maybe the right action arises to your mind. So I really, really love that quote. As I was searching the kidney and bladder meridians, the kidney and bladder organs, which are associated with the water element of winter, I also came across one word that popped up again and again. It made so much sense to me as well. Potential. In winter, we're planting our seeds for spring so that we can grow, right? But without our winter rest, we may not have the energy to plant those seeds. And then we may not be able to grow in spring, and it may just all snowball down from there, so to speak. Okay, a lot of information to cover today. Really a general overview of the water element, of our bladder and kidney meridians. You'll see me glancing at my whiteboard a bunch of times so I don't forget anything. And always keep in mind, I am not a TCM, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. Okay, let's get started. So, two organs are associated with the water element, and that is the bladder organ, which is the yang organ of winter, and the kidney, which is the yin organ of the water element. And they both have times when they are strongest. It's really fascinating to me, the Chinese clock. For bladder, it's 3 to 5 p.m. And for kidney, it's 5 to 7 p.m. And it's very interesting, and we'll get into that just a little bit more further down the road. When your bladder meridian is balanced, you feel confident. You have willpower and you are calm. When it's imbalanced, you have lack of confidence, lack of motivation. It's really hard to get started with stuff. Winter seems to exacerbate that, doesn't it? Your kidney, when it's balanced, you have courage and wisdom. I mean, you have a lot more, but I just cherry-picked a few words. When it's imbalanced, the main emotion for kidney organ, which is imbalanced, is fear. So that's usually the emotion that is attached to the water element of the 5 elements. And maybe also depression. Winter is a common time to feel depression, whether that's real depression or it's just that feeling of all the light has gone out of the world, right? A couple of poses I like to get into the bladder meridian in yin yoga is caterpillar, legs up the wall, and dangling. Dangling is a kind of, maybe it's yin, maybe it's not because it's standing, but it does mimic that caterpillar shape. And I talk about that in my video on breaking down the caterpillar pose. And a few that will stimulate the kidney meridian more are dragonfly. I have a breakdown on that one. All the butterflies, whether that's seated, laying down, supported by a block. Also, child's pose with wide legs is a nice one as well. There are obviously more poses that stimulate these meridians. The basic target areas for both bladder and kidney, and they vary a little bit, and you'll see when we talk a bit more about the meridians themselves. It's your spine, your inner thighs, your groin, the center of your abs and chest, and also your hamstrings. So if you have really tight hamstrings, you see me say this in a lot of pose breakdowns, when I remember in my videos, go ahead and bend those knees a little bit. That will release your low back a bit and make the pose feel a little easier. Okay. Bear with me. I'm going to talk about the meridians now. I may glance at that whiteboard. And even this is an oversimplification. Your bladder meridian starts at the inside of your eye. It goes up and over your forehead, down behind the back of your head. Let me turn around. Down to either side of your spine, down the backs of your legs, and it ends at your little toe. Okay? And your kidney meridian starts at that little toe. It goes to the ball of your foot, kidney 1, we'll talk about that later. And then goes the side of your foot around your ankle, up the inner thighs, this is on both legs, a little bit out at the hips, and then comes back in a little, goes straight up that torso, over the breast, and just underneath the ends of your collarbones. This is kidney 27. We're going to talk about that a bit too. Okay. So I have some simple actions you can take to either calm or strengthen your kidney energy, mostly your kidney energy. One of them is the calming points. I'm going to turn around again. So your water element calming points, these are neurovascular points. They're on the back of your head, right behind your eyes. So take your hands, your fingers should meet in the middle of your head, and just hold. Let me turn back around. And just hold. You can hold for about a minute, maybe 2 to 3. So if you're feeling really fearful, this, might be a good thing to do to hold these calming points. And you can see now why laying down can be really helpful, because otherwise you're holding your arms up, but that's okay, that works too. And you just breathe in and out through your nose, or in through your nose and out through your mouth. Whatever feels right to you. And it's a light hold. You're not really pushing in there. There's all sorts of bladder points back there on the back of your head. So that's one thing you can do when you feel like your kidney, your water element in general is in balance. If you're feeling really fearful, if you're anxious, well, anxiety is a bit more with spleen, but you could feel like if you're having panic attacks. This probably won't work on a panic attack, but you can try it. You can try it. It might help. Okay. Another thing you can do, very, very simple, and I do this a few times a day, is to massage kidney 27. Again, right underneath the ends of your collarbone where they meet in the middle of your body. And you can take your first three fingers and touch your thumb. So it kind of looks like this. And just, this is one that you can really get in there. It might feel really sore. And you can just massage. It helps to get the energy of the kidney meridian running in the right direction. And this might also be a great pick-me-up for when you're tired. If you're driving, I was driving a lot yesterday, you can be driving with one hand and you can do a little massage with your kidney voids. I do that sometimes and it really does help me. Okay. Another simple thing, sort of simple thing, once you get the hang of it, is you can flush your meridians. Now, what does that mean? Flushing is going backwards on the meridian once. Remember, your yin meridians flow from your feet up to the heavens, and your yang meridians flow from the heavens down to your feet. So you go backwards once, and then forwards 3 times. And it's basically just what it says. It's flushing, it's getting out toxins, it's getting out stale energy, especially that first time when you go backwards. So for our kidney meridian, I'm going to come into butterfly now, and you'll notice I also have my little butterfly necklace on as well. You start at those K27 points. You can give yourself a little massage. And then you come down center of the body, out at the hips, and then down the inner legs, around at the ankles, down to kidney 1, the ball of your foot, and then off the little toe. And then you can come up, around at the ankles, up the inner legs, all the way up. We're going to do this 2 more times. You can also just start at your K1, at the middle of the ball of the foot, kind of right there between your first and second toes. Side of the foot, around the ankles, up the inner legs, out at the hips, and up the center of the body to end at K27. And one last time. And when I do this, I do feel a tingling in my legs. One last time, and that is flushing your kidney meridians. This is another real fast pick-me-up when you're not feeling well, when you're feeling tired, that afternoon slump. And in fact, we're going to go on to a different point for your afternoon slump. Like I said, kidney 1. It's right here, in ball of your foot, center of your foot, a little off center, kind of between your big toe and your first toe. And you just hold, you just press in. Kidney 1 is a great point when you have that afternoon slump. Then you just hold and you breathe. And feel the sensations in your body. And another last little action point is you can just trace your meridian the right way. You can do it a few times. I'm not going to do the bladder meridian. That is the longest meridian in your body. It's a little more complicated and harder to reach, but you can simply trace your kidney meridian. In which case you start at that kidney 1, come up the side of your feet, around that ankle, up the inner legs, a little bit out at your hips, up the center of your body, ending at kidney 27. And so what does tracing do for you, right? So you can trace all your meridians. You just have to know the pathways. And for me, it takes a little time to learn that. But what that does is it helps to smooth out your energy. It helps it to run better and release blockages. So tracing your meridians is even more powerful when you do it at the time that they are strong. So anywhere between tracing your bladder meridian between 3 and 5, and your kidney meridian between 5 and 7. That can actually get another way to get over that afternoon slump without, something very sweet or more caffeine that's going to keep you up at night. Okay, covered everything I want to cover. Like I said, this is not a deep dive at all. It is an overview. I've given you some action points for what you can do when you feel that kidney energy is imbalanced. And you know approximately how those meridians run. You've heard where in your body you target those meridians. Why we need to rest more during the winter. Because it will help you when you move into the wood element of the spring. It will help you have that energy. Our kidney energy is depleted very easily. And as we grow older, we have less and less of it. So some of these things, these action points I've given you, will help you to build that a little bit. I hope you learned a little bit about the water element, about your kidney and bladder organs and meridians. You know that fear is the emotion in the 5 elements that is felt when your water element is out of balance. And you have a few actions you can take when you are feeling fearful. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this short vlog, go ahead and click the like button. If you'd like to learn more about the meridians throughout this year, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell. I will be linking up about now at the end of this video to the first video in this series, which was just a little intro to your meridians. And I may also link up to that caterpillar pose breakdown that I talked about in here. Thank you so much. Have a great day and go out there and be motivated.